elevator took me somewhere I never asked to go. It was a long time ago, back when I was assigned the night shift at the City Museum. On my first day, the supervisor gave me a strange warning. Sometimes things happen here at night. Be careful. The way he said it, slow and deliberate, made it sound less like a joke and more like a whispered truth. I just shrugged it off. I never believed in ghost stories or mysteries. I thought I could handle anything. That night, everything started as usual. The vast halls of the museum were silent, the displays resting in their dim pools of light. I took the elevator to do my routine floor check, pressing the button for the second floor. The elevator hummed upward for a moment, then stopped. The doors slid open, and I froze. It wasn't my floor. It wasn't any floor I'd been to before. Pitch black darkness stretched out in front of me, swallowing everything except for a faint spill of light seeping from somewhere far away. I blinked, trying to adjust my eyes. Then I looked at the elevator's panel. Basement. But I never pressed basement. I was still processing that when I heard it. A faint rustling, like fabric brushing against stone. I reached for the emergency button, hesitating, when the rustling grew louder, joined by slow, deliberate footsteps. From the dim edge of the light, something began moving toward me. It wasn't walking like a person should. It glided. A cold weight pressed against my chest. My hands shook as I slammed the closed door button. The gap between the doors narrowed. Then just before they shut completely, I saw it. A black silhouette, featureless, leaning forward as if it knew I was escaping. I screamed. The doors closed, the elevator jolted upward, and I didn't stop shaking until it opened again. I ran, straight out of the museum, into the freezing night air, and waited outside until the police arrived. Their investigation was quick. They checked every entry point. There was only one gate to enter from outside. It had been locked the whole time. No signs of forced entry. No living person inside. So who, or what, was in that basement? I still don't know. And I'm not sure I want to.
I wasn't alone, but I should have been. I was a freelancer working with a foreign company, so my nights were spent in front of a glowing screen while the rest of the world slept. The building I stayed in was mostly empty, still on rent, and my floor was silent. My room was simple. A desk in the corner, papers and cables scattered around, a small bathroom attached, and across it, a door that led to the other bedroom. That room was supposed to be vacant. The next night, when I came back to work, I noticed something odd. The light in the other room was on. I thought maybe someone had finally moved in. I didn't pay much attention and settled into my work. Around 2 a.m., I took a break to make coffee. That's when I heard it. Low, deep laughter from a man. For the first time in weeks, I felt a strange happiness. Finally, someone else is here. Some company. I walked toward the room, coffee in hand, but just as I got close, the light switched off. I shrugged, assuming they'd gone to sleep, and went back to my desk. I had barely sat down when I heard it. A woman laughing. Not cheerful laughter, but sharp, stretched, and wrong, like it had been dragged through the dark before reaching me. My skin prickled. Something inside me recoiled, and a heavy, sinking feeling filled my chest. The sound seeped into the silence, making the air feel colder. Then, without warning, the laugh twisted into a low, drawn-out hiss. My pulse quickened. My hands hovered above my keyboard, useless. I couldn't call anyone, not at this hour. No one would come this late. I was thinking of just locking myself in when I heard it, my bathroom door opening. Slowly, deliberately. I froze. Footsteps followed, soft at first, then firmer, moving inside the bathroom. But the light didn't turn on. Every instinct told me to stay away, but my curiosity fought back. Before I could second-guess myself, I stood, walked to the bathroom, and flung the door open. Darkness. Not the ordinary kind, the sort that feels thick, almost solid. My eyes darted toward the other door, the one connecting to the next bedroom. It was wide open. I felt the still cold air spilling from it. Before I could move, the silence shattered. Laughter. Not from one person, but from many layered over each other, overlapping, high and low, near and far. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. My vision blurred for a moment, a rush of panic rising to my throat. I slammed the bathroom door shut and bolted. Behind me, I heard it, heavy footsteps, matching my pace, following me all the way down the corridor. I didn't dare look back. I burst out into the freezing night air and didn't stop until I was outside the building. I waited there, shivering, my breath fogging in the dark, watching the windows like they might lean forward. When daylight finally came, I went straight to the building dealer. I told him everything, every sound, every laugh, every step. He listened quietly, then shook his head. "No one is living there," he said flatly. "No one came on rent. Maybe you're imagining things. You work at night too much." But I knew I hadn't imagined it. Something was in that room, and I wasn't going to wait around for it to find me again. That very day, I packed my bags and left.
The radio told my story back to me. This happened years ago when I lived in Hounslow, London. It was one of those sleepless nights, around 1:30 a.m., and I had my old radio on, tuned to a late-night local FM station. They used to have this call-in show where people would share weird experiences. That night, a woman called in and said she lived across from a small sweets and pastry shop in our neighborhood. She explained that one evening she was heading upstairs when she glanced out of her window and saw a little girl at the shop buying sweets. The girl was alone, carrying her bag. With each step, she dragged her feet in a slow, scraping motion, the sound unnervingly heavy for someone so small, like it didn't belong to her at all. Her hair hung loose, but the color wasn't clear. She was barefoot and the street was empty. I remember leaning in to listen, feeling a strange chill in my chest. Halfway through her story, I got thirsty and went to the kitchen for some water. That's when I heard it. This loud scraping sound outside. It was like the sharp slap of broken sandals on pavement, followed by the dragging shuffle of heavy feet. The sound was so unnaturally loud it made my stomach knot. I walked to my balcony and looked down. There she was, a small girl with a bag slung over her back, skipping lightly as she walked. Yet every step sounded like a grown man dragging his shoes across the concrete. And then I saw her hair. It was sticking straight up in messy tufts, as if every strand was charged with static electricity. It didn't look like hair moved by wind. It looked wrong. Weirdly, I wasn't scared right away. I was annoyed, thinking maybe someone was pulling a prank. I glanced toward the end of the street, expecting to see an adult nearby, but there was no one. When I turned back, she was gone. A strange, cold emptiness washed over me, like the air itself had shifted. My hands felt clammy, my throat dry. It wasn't fear exactly. More like my body knew something was wrong before my mind could process it. Every shadow on the street suddenly looked deeper, heavier. I went to bed, pulling the blanket over myself, trying to shake it off. That's when I felt it, the weight of something pressing down on my stomach, like a cat settling into sleep. Even through the blanket, I could feel its warmth. I stayed frozen, hardly breathing. I didn't want to know what it really was. Finally, in a burst of panic, I threw off the blanket, flung whatever it was to the side, and bolted downstairs to my sister's room. In the morning, I asked her if she'd heard about that sweet shop incident from the radio show. I didn't even finish my sentence before she gave me a weird look and said, "What are you talking about?" There was no story like that on the radio last night. I called my cousins to see if they'd heard anything. They hadn't, and they added something that still makes my skin crawl. The house across from that sweets shop? It's been abandoned for years. And here's the part I can't explain. No one else remembers that radio show ever airing, except me.